دكتورة معلش بس هو أصلا هذا السؤال أوكي بس هو لوجيك يعني أنا حتى لما حليته لوجيك بس أنا أول ما فتحت البرنامج وشفت السؤال فتوقعت إنه لازم نستخدم الأويو بلد وكذا فهذا وترنا من الاختبار بس هو أنا عموما لما حليته باللوجيكلي ولما سلمت الاختبار كنت واثقة إنه 100% غلط بس ما أدري كيف طلع ما يصح صراحة. سنتكلم لك يعني هو من حق الطلاب في كثير طلاب انظلموا بالدرجة هذه حق السؤال لأن إحنا ما كنا متوقعين إنه يجي سؤال زي كذا.
بس أنتوا إذا جاكم questions OU build أنتوا already قاعدين تستخدموا الأجهزة. I solve the question حق OU build using my computer and get the answers. If you familiar with OU build it will not take you more than يعني 2 minutes 3 minutes to mention ال X, Y, Z, change the value every time and get the answer.
تعرفي دكتورة شو اللي هاي المرة اللي خلانا نتوتر إنه ما في اوبشن يعني ما في choices إنه لحتى تحسي إنه أنت عاملة شيء صح. لهيك أنا بالنسبة لي أنا عدت حل السؤال مرتين تبع الإكس والواي والزد لحتى أتأكد كل مرة إنه أنا شفت منيح هل أنا فعلا ركزت وأنا عم بكتب بالأيو بيلد. الموضوع منه سهل أبدا. أنا بالنسبة لي أحل 1000 امتحان بقلب الجامعة وعلى ورق وعلى جهاز قدام الدكتور ولا ينعمل فيه هيك. نحط تحت ضغط الوقت 20 دقيقة وكمان سؤال مفاجئ حتى بالموك ما أعطانا أي هنت إنه حيكون في شيء سؤال مثل هيك. نحن ما عندنا مانع أبدا نحل دكتورة نحن بنحله هذا السؤال لكن هذا الموضوع جدا صعب كان.
أنا أتوقع سؤال الإف إلس هذا من الميتينج اللي قبل مو من الميتينج اللي اختبرنا فيه يعني هو أصلا إحنا كان عندنا ميتينج from 1 to 4 فأنا أتوقع إنه السؤال كان حق ميتينج 3.
هو صحيح هو حق ميتينج 3 بس أنا اعتراضي على الوقت ضغط الوقت.
صح
لو كان الوقت شوي أكتر كان فعلا كلياتنا حلينا السؤال لكن الوقت ضغطنا لأن أنت أول ما بتشوفي السؤال تتفاجئي فيه أول شيء كتير كبير السؤال. لحتى تحللي السؤال وتعرفي شو بده. أنا بالنسبة لي فهمت أول شيء فهمته إني بدي طلع الديسكاونت لكل فئة. بالآخر اكتشفت إنه في شيء اسمه total sum of the discount. انصدمت إنه هيك المطلوب من السؤال. فتحليل السؤال نفسه بحاجة لوقت. نحن دكتورة
ومو كلهم وممكن في ناس ما تفهم الأسئلة ترى في ناس ماشية على الأويو بيلد طريقة الأسئلة العادية اللي هو برنامج مزبوط. وأنا أمشي على الخطوات مو كل أحد فلوينتلي وممكن يفهم السؤال صح. أنا معك
تحليل السؤال كان ياخذ وقت أما حله جدا بسيط.
صحيح.
طيب أوكي علشان we don't want to talk too much about the quiz. I want يعني we can't ask Mr. Sheikhan to change the type of the questions. هو already informed us in the quiz.
Extend the time. Tell him to extend the time. يعني
at least. We can ask for extend the time. مو مشكلة. Regard the time, I can ask for extending time.
Yes.
But a type of a questions already was أساساً الماتيريال there. It was already regard all you build. So
yes, it's okay. It's okay. بس الوقت. Yes.
Okay. The quiz, time, no problem. We can ask for more time.
Thank you, Doctora.
We can learn from the mistakes happen from the last time. Expect OU build because you're still taking the quizzes. If you have questions in OU build, try to construct it in OU build and get the answers from there.
Yes, yes.
هذه يعني one idea. If you're using the phone and you can't use the OU build in your computer, use paper
yes.
وبن.
دكتور يعني اغلبنا دكتوره ما كان عنده مشاكل بالايو بيلد بلوكس على فكره. نحن العلامه الوحيده اللي نزلت من عنا هي علامه هذا السؤال.
لا والله انا when I checked the grades there most of the students get 1.
Okay.
Most of the emails I've received it because they got 1 and when I check their exams they answers wrongly. يعني هم جاوبوا غلط.
يعني we have a problem.
يعني طبيعي انه انت راح تخسر درجه اذا ما جاوبت الامتحان صح.
مزبوط.
one point if you want to do التراكنج حق الفاريبلز والفاليوز حقتها most of the question كان x y z وانا حليتها ترى اول ما حليتها على الورق.
Yes.
I solved this question on paper without using OU build. most of the question I'm expecting the error why they put the wrong answers. Change in the value means the value old plus the new value. Okay. One of the question I will show it to you now.
دكتورة أنا عندي بس سؤال خارج عن الموضوع هذا. دكتورة أنا الحين عندي اللي هي العملي، الحصص العملي حق الثلاثاء اللي هي الساعة 8. دكتورة أنا الحين بفتح الكلاس ما يعني أنت أحيانا دكتورة
ما في عملي.
الكلاس. أنت لغيتي لي الكلاسز؟
هو ما في عملي، هي اوفيس اور. اوفيس اور مكان البراكتيكال.
على نفس اللينك هذا لأنه أنا بفتح ما حدا فيه
على نفس اللينك هذا. وما يعني إذا في if you have questions أنا بالعادة يعني أساساً حتى دائماً بنساها لأنها هي office hours. If students want me usually they send me email.
أوكي تمام.
If you need to speak with me يعني by voice you want me to attend send me يعني email و usually I will go there. يعني أنا بدخل نفسك وما بيكون في أحد، ما في أحد عنده سؤال. If someone want any question they send me by email. فهي ما هي class ما هي practical. We already covered it in the session. It's office hour. So if you have any question you can send me an email if I forget to enter the office hour.
أوكي شكرا دكتورة.
عفوا.
يعني ما عليها تحضير يا دكتورة صحيح؟
نعم لا ما عليها تحضير. الأوفيس hours ما عليها تحضير. Only if you have a question you can come.
هي يوم الأربعاء صح؟
يوم الثلاثاء.
يوم الثلاثاء سوري.
الثلاثاء هي من 8 ل 9.
ممتاز واضح. الله يعطيك العافية. شكرا.
الله يعافيك. Okay. Regard the quizzes, I don't want you to make the mistakes again. اللي صار المستيكس في الكلاس في الكويز اللي راح. I want you all to avoid it in next quizzes. Expect the unexpected. اتوقعوا اللي مو متوقع. طالما ان انتم شفتوا الاسئله ممكن تكون multiple choice, true or false, or programming or theoretical. يعني زي سؤال question if else question. If else questions في mistakes. بس if you follow the logic يعني I want to show you the question علشان تكونوا وياي في الصورة. ف just give me a second I will copy the question.
دكتورة فعلا أنا لاحظت حتى صيغة السؤال فيها غلط يعني مش واضحة.
لا السؤال واضح كان ما في مشاكل. طريقة حلكم انتوا للسؤال يعني بعض الطلاب حلوه خطأ. فإحنا ما نبغى نحل خطأ، نبغى نعرف ليش إحنا حلينا خطأ فنحله صح. أوكي. فعندي مثلا الآن هذا questions حق just a second I will share the screen with you.
دكتورة أنا في السؤال تبعي لما كان طالب إنه نطلع التوتال سم كنت محتارة إنه أحط لها إياها decimal percent ولا أحط لها إياها رقم عادي. يعني ما كان موضح في السؤال هل نحطها decimal ولا نحطها as a percentage معلش أو as a number عادي. فكان هذه فيها إشكالية أنا نحط الرقم
percentage ولا discount. هو قال الديسكاونت total. I remember في الكويستشن كان التوتال هي
مكتوبة
total ما قال percentage فهي number ما هي نسبة.
أوكي تمام.
Okay. Just a second I shared the wrong file. This is the question. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is an example X, Y, Z. For this example, if you want to solve it by using a paper, okay, let us say here we need some table. Insert table X, Y, Z. ليش مو راضي؟ Value of X, value of Y, value of Z, and we need counter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Regardless of question, والباقي will be the same ideas. Okay. هذه just if you are using البيبر. فهير we have X equal 1. We have y equal 1 اللي هي the question here set x to 1 set y to 1 set z to 1. Here also I have z initial value 1. Are you with me?
Yes دكتورة yes.
Then I have counter اللي هي repeat 5. So I have here first case, second case, third case, fourth case, 5 case. Okay. We start the loop. We change x by 1. So x here will become 2. Change y by 1. Y will become 2. Change z by y multiply y. Y last value فيها it was 2. So 2 multiply 2 4. Okay. فهنا أساساً y by 1 y by y بتكون عبارة عن 2 multiply 2 plus the old value of z which is 1. This one will equal 4 plus 1. فبالتالي here z will become 5. في لوجيك ولا ما في لوجيك؟
Yes دكتورة واضح.
Okay. A second case, the same things. We have inside the loop change x by 1, so x will become 3. زادت الx بواحد. الy the same thing. Change y by 1. الy increase 1 فكانت 2. زدنا عليها واحد صارت 3. الz الفاليو حقتها will take the last value of y multiply y اللي هي 3 multiply 3 plus الزد last value of z اللي هي كانت عبارة عن 5. فهذا بيكون عبارة عن 9 plus 5 ويساوي 6 7 8 9 كم؟ 5 زائد 9 كم بيساوي؟
14.
14. اوكي. دخلنا اللوب for the third time. We change x by 1 become 4. Change y by 1 become 4. Change z by y multiply y. فهنا y multiply y عبارة عن 4 multiply 4 اللي هي عبارة عن 16.
16 plus 5 21 plus 5
عبارة عن yes 4 multiply 4 عبارة عن 16
plus 5
last value حق الزد اللي هي عبارة عن 14 فبيكون
40 sorry 16 plus 14
30 sorry 30
yes
okay the same things. رابع مرة بيدخل اللوب x غيرها بواحد y change it by 1 here 5 multiply 5 25 plus 25. The last value of z which 30. is 30 وهذا 55. will become
55
it will become 55. Last time of the counter here
6
x will become 6 y will become 6
36
here will become 36
plus 55.
The last value of z will become 55 وهذا will become كم؟
91.
So most of the questions here they answered the same things 36. شايفين هنا الستودنت جاوبها جاوبها 36. So why they put 36? Because they count z as y by 1 they didn't count البلس ما جمعوا عليها الاولد فاليو حقت الزد وهنا تشينج معناها غير لي قيمة الزد بهذه القيمة y multiply y ف they got 91 يعني هم هنا ليش حطوها 36 هنا هذا الستودنت حطها 36 لأنه بس قال 4 هنا ما جمع عليها البلس 1 فصارت لهنا 4 هنا قال الزد عبارة عن y multiply y اللي هي 9 فقال 9 هنا قال 16 هنا قال 25 هنا قال 6 multiply 6 فصارت في الأخير عنده 36. هذا most of the error I found it في الكويز. فاهم واضح how to answer this type of question؟
واضح.
فchange by هي اللي كان فيها المستيك. change means ال old value plus ال value اللي we need to change it by. يعني هنا ال change كان عبارة عن y multiply y. فتضرب ال y بال y وبلس ال old value حق ال z. اوكي. ال other question كان عبارة عن في كان question حق I will type the question here just a second. Here I found a question حق ال if وال else. Just a second. Open. يعني I have picture very unclear, but this is the one I have it now. Okay, can you see the screen? Where is it? Can you see the screen now for this question?
Yes, this question, yes.
Okay. If, else if, else if, else. Here we have company decide to offer discount. So the question regard discount, the company want to offer it to its customer. The condition for this discount has two parts. The first part, in the customer, he must be partner. The second, على حسب illustration as down. If sales greater than 10,000 discount 50%. Else if يعني إذا كان الكونديشن اللي فوق تحقق خلاص ما يدخل في تحت.
طب دكتورة بس معلش يعني أنا بس بدي أوقف على صيغة السؤال الأول. A company decided to offer a discount in the current season. The discount will be given based on two main categories. The first category, the customer must be a partner. شو يعني must be a partner؟ لأنه ذكرت
المفروض يكون عميل، يعني زي أنت مثلا مسجلة في حساب الشركة.
كلاينت يعني؟
زي يعني أنت مثلا عندك بطاقة شكرا تابع السنتر بوينت، فأنت لازم يكون عندك بطاقة شكرا علشان تحصلي على هذا الخصم.
يعني كلاينت.
يعني هو
البارتنر يعني
كان لازم
كلاينت.
يكون شرطين. يكون شرطين صح؟
يكون زبون، يعني في البطاقة يكون عنده بطاقة عضوية.
ايش اجازه شنو؟
طيب must be a partner and the second category is amount of sales as follows. ما فهمت يعني يعني طريقة ايه
يعني هنا علشان يحصل على الديسكاونت لازم يكون في شرطين. اول شيء لازم يكون عنده عضوية.
طيب.
ثاني شيء على حسب قيمة مشترياته، لو مشترياته اكبر من 10,000 نعطيه خصم 50%، لو مشترياته اقل من 9,000 نعطيه كذا.
اوكي.
Got the idea? Okay. I will just send an email to one of your classmates. Okay, نرجع للquestion. فهنا في logic. الquestion هنا يقول if sales greater than 10,000 discount 50%. If greater than or equal 9,000 40%. السيلز إذا كان أكبر من أو يساوي 8,000 أعطيه 30% discount. else أعطيه فقط 20%. Okay. Here, الcase number 1. First customer is not partner. خلاص. Whatever it was, amount he bought, he doesn't deserve discount because he doesn't meet the first condition. Okay. no discount in the first case. ما أعطيه خصم لأن أساساً ما حقق الشرط الأول، هو ما هو بارتنر، ما هو عميل، ما عنده بطاقة شكراً، ما أعطيه الديسكاونت. Clear in this point?
Clear دكتورة، والمشكلة إن أنا ما فهمتها هيك أبداً. أنا أعطيته ديسكاونت.
لا هو he doesn't deserve because he is not partner.
لأني
يعني
ما فهمت شو يعني
If
partner.
you didn't understand the word, read the question. The question here said based on two main category. The first category, the customer must be partner. هذا شرط. هنا قال لك في number 1 the first customer is not a partner. فهنا ما حقق. فخلاص يعني even if you don't know what is meaning of partner, اوكي. السكند كاتيجوري الكاستمر از بارتنر، فمعناها ايه هو بارتنر، وش ما تكون بارتنر معناها. then السيلز is 9000 معناها بيدخل هنا sales greater than or equal 9000. فالسكند كيس الديسكاونت بيكون عبارة عن 40%. الثيرد كيس ثيرد كاستمر بارتنر اوكي حقق الشرط الاول. السيلز is 7000 معناها هي بيصير هنا في الالس ديسكاونت is 20%، لان في ال 8000 اذا كان اكبر من او يساوي 8000 ف I will give him 30%. فالثيرد كيس it will be 20%، يعني الفيرست كاستمر no discount، السكند كاستمر 40%، الثيرد كاستمر it will be 20%.
يعني 60% راح صاروا.
يعني بتاخدي كل مبلغ اللي اشترى فيه وبتضربيه في قيمة الديسكاونت حقه وبتعطيه وياه. وهنا ال question one of you ask is it a percentage ولا it's a number. Here it said what is the total of the discount. فبتاخدي الديسكاونت حق الحالة الثانية الكاستمر الثاني وبتحسبيها، وبتاخدي الديسكاونت حق الكاستمر الثالث وبتحسبيه وبتجمعي المجموع اللي طلع لك. ففي الأخير هنا I think it was 5%، يعني when I calculated it was 5%. 5000 sorry 5000.
دكتورة أنا بالامتحان طبقته على الأيوبلد، عملت variables discount 1 و 2 و 3 وحسبت الديسكاونت لما طبقت الاف إلس. المشكلة اللي كانت عندي إني أنا ما فهمت أول مطلوب وحسبت له ديسكاونت، مشان هيك طلع عندي الجواب غلط.
لا فانتبهوا يعني أخطاء عادي نخطأ، المهم إن احنا ما نعيد الخطأ مرة ثانية. اوكي so next quiz ان شاء الله. ابغى افتح صفحة الدرجات اشوف الثلاثة والخمسة والستة منورة. ها ابغى اشوف good marks next time ان شاء الله.
ان شاء الله
دكتور عاد تعيدين ما فهمت.
في هذا السؤال مال if else.
يس
اوكي هنا عندي محل، عندي سنتر بوينت يبغى يعطي خصم. شرط علشان يعطي الخصم هذا حاجتين. الحاجة الأولى إنه لازم يكون عنده بطاقة شكرا، لازم يكون عميل عنده عضوية في المحل. ثاني شرط على حسب قيمة مشترياته، بكم اشترى. إذا اشترى ب10,000 بعطيه خصم 50% من قيمة مشترياته. إذا كان اشترى بأكبر من أو يساوي 9,000 بعطيه خصم 40% على قيمة مشترياته. إذا اشترى بأكبر من أو يساوي 8,000 بعطيه خصم 30%. إذا كان أقل فبعطيه دائما 20%. أوكي فالكاستمر الأول the first customer is not a partner and the sales 10,000. قال لي هنا الكاستمر ما عنده عضوية في المحل، ما عنده بطاقة شكرا، فخلاص هو it doesn't meet the first condition، ما حقق الشرط الأول عندي، فهذا ما في discount no discount for this one. الكاستمر الثاني is a partner عنده بطاقة شكرا والسيلز اشترى ب9,000 فبيروح على هذه الحالة هنا sales is greater than or equal 9,000 فبيكون عنده خصم 40% على قيمة مشترياته. فبتروحي تفتح الكالكوليتر تحسبي 9,000 ضرب 40% بيعطيك مبلغ، هذا المبلغ بتخصميه من 9,000. اوكي هذا هو الخصم.
اوكي
الثيرد كاستمر مشترياته 7,000 اشترى ب 7,000 فبيروح على الديسكاونت اللي هو عبارة عن 20%، فبحسب 20% من 7,000 عملية ضرب بتسويها بالآلة وبتطلع لك القيمة. في الأخير يبغى التوتال حق الديسكاونت حق هذول الثلاثة أشخاص. الأول زيرو ما عنده ديسكاونت، الثاني عنده 40% والثالث عنده 20%. في الأخير بيطلع عندك الناتج على حسب الأرقام اللي عندي الآن 5,000 بيكون. فالأنسر كان عبارة عن أن أنت فقط تكتبي 5,000. Another point I want to highlight it regard this type of questions. Here it's ask you total. ما تروحي تكتبي in details. Don't answer in details. Okay. So الكمبيوتر will correct the exam for you. He will not analyze your answer. Give him a clear answer. ما تروح تشرح الحالة الأولى بعطيه خصم 40%، بعطيه بصير الناتج كذا، الحالة الثانية عنده شرب 9000 بعطيه خصم 40%. لا، قال يبغى توتال، يعني تكتبي له في الانسر بوكس فقط الجواب النهائي 5000.
دكتورة والله ظلم هذا الأونلاين ظلم.
فانتبهوا، إذا الكمبيوتر اللي بيصحح
الكمبيوتر
ما
هو السبب.
بيحل الجواب، والتيتشر اوريدي اساسا قال لو الستودنتس كتب هذه القيمه في البوكس احسب له صح. لو كتب غير هذه ما بيحسبها صح،
ما بيحسبها، بيقراها لانه سيستم.
ايه، فهو بيقارن انت ايش حطيتي مع اللي التيتشر حطه كجواب صح. اوكي. فالمره الجايه لا تحطوا تفاصيل، حطوا جواب نهائي. اوكي، علشان يحسب لكم الجواب صح.
اوكي.
هذا regard the quiz. Any question regard the quiz ولا we move
مشكورة دكتورة، ما قصرتي والله، يعطيك العافية.
يعطيك العافية.
Can we do it on OyoBuild?
Which one, ال FLs?
Yes you can.
Yes you can، بس علشان احنا we want to save time فأنتوا try to do it. It's only FLs.
Yes,
وبتحتاج
variable
اسمه discount.
And variable for each customer or no need?
For each discount.
هنا بتحتاج أول شيء total discount، هذا variable اللي هو يبغاك تجمعه. بعدين في عندك ممكن تستخدمها كinput وتسويها كلوب for 3 times، فيها أكثر من idea أنت إيش تبغى. فممكن تدخل الفاليو على طول. عندي كاستمر 1 توتال كذا اشترى بكذا، كاستمر ثاني اشترى بتوتال كذا، كاستمر ثالث اشترى بتوتال كذا. احسب الديسكاونت حق الاول والثاني والثالث باستخدام الاف والالس، بيطلع لك الناتج واجمعه.
طب what about partner? True or false?
partner ممكن يكون عباره عن question. is customer partner؟ yes ادخل، no لا تدخل.
يعني if else جوا لوب 3 مرات.
if else بتكون داخل يعني
لوب.
لوب على حسب هي يعني ايش تبغي تسويها. تبغي ما تستخدمي اللوب وتقولي عندي
بنقدر الاف else
الثلاثه هذول اسوي نفس العمليات.
ممكن نقدر.
ممكن، بس هي كلوجيك ترى ما يحتاج لها اويو بيلد. انت علشان تسويه وتفكر في الايديا
بياخذ وقت
اكثر من ان انت على طول بالبيبرز وبالبن وتسويها.
ورقه وقلم صح.
And I tried to do it on OyoBuild. The time has been finished. I took 2.5 on the
نفس المشكله صار معي.
ما هو يعني اذا السؤال بسيط انتوا ليش تسووه صعب؟
خفنا منه دكتوره لانه اول مره بنشوف هيك سؤال، بس عشان هيك
يعني كانك تقولي اعطي للستودنت اذا حضر الستودنت كلاس يحسب له درجه.
السؤال جدا بسيط فعلا، السؤال جدا بسيط.
كود في برنامج واضيع وقت عشان احلله واجيب البلوكس واروح على الداتا.
هو بس موضوع التوتر يعني، بس مش اكثر. ان شاء الله المره الجاي بنكون معودين.
المره الجايه ان شاء الله افضل
ان شاء الله.
اوكي. هذه بالنسبه الى الكويز. Second subject I want to talk with you is your TMA. TMA already Mr. Sheikhan put it on LMS. Okay. Have you download the TMA?
Yes دكتورة.
Okay. Have you started in your TMA?
Yes.
Okay. المين بوينت الحين عندي I want to highlight it regard your TMA هي الديت حق السبمشن. الديت حق السبمشن متى؟
November 18 we noticed يعني إنه
yes it is November 18 you have less than عندكم starting
3 weeks يعني 3 weeks and 2 days.
around 3 weeks.
Yes.
Don't wait to the last minute to answer your TMA.
Okay.
سووه من الحين if you have any question, you can send me, you can ask me in next class, you can send me an email, you can ask me to attend the office hours if you want to يعني talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
Already Mr. Sheikhan highlight when you have to submit your TMA. وحط الكونديشن حق الليت تايم والليت سبمشن. فالسبجكت اللي covered inside the TMA, which activities you have to practice to answer the TMA, and also submission, which files we are expecting from you to submit on the LMS. فالكل إن شاء الله يسلم بشكل صحيح ال TMA. Okay. Any question regarding TMA?
For me, no. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. طيب. بالنسبة اللي أشوف هنا في الشات إنه حاطين بعضكم عنده كان مشاكل في الإنترنت وما قدر يدخل على الاختبار. If you couldn't do the exam, I think there will be a makeup exam, but you have to contact Mr. Sheikhan علشان schedule it for you. Okay. طيب. Let us start also today's session. Just a second. Meeting 7 today. Digital media and HCI. First, we want to highlight digital media, and we already spoke about the meaning of digital media. Digital media, in short terms, it's mean tools that we use to create media, like text, image, audio, and video, the digital media of this, and also the way of how we can communicate using it and how we share it. Of course, by using the internet and the web. As technologies develop, we will be able to distribute and to produce the digital media, as well as its consumption. Whether is in an education or training context or in a work-based setting, the use of audio, video offers a rich and more interactive environment for us to use and to present our material. Most digital media, it can be copied, modified, changed, and most of these activities considers illegal because you have to take the permission before you use someone else's work. Another concern regarding digital media is also the privacy of the material and the copyright, as we have now intellectual property rights. And these are also another government issues. You have to be careful if you use someone else's work. Okay. The ideas of today's session is how to convert real pictures, real things. Usually you have it on pictures or sounds, how to convert the sounds or video to digital media. How we can let the sense of a human understand the digital media as natural as we communicate in our life. So in our real life, between humans and humans contacting, we are actually an analog world. So we deal every day with analog representation. And we want to convert the analog representation of things to digital representation. The importance of converting the analog to digital to be able to run everything inside the computer. If it's digital, then the computer can interpret it to something else that you can modify it, share it, and send it to someone else. The first example is the temperature representing the temperature is usually analog and can take on any value within given range. When temperature is measured by traditional mercury or alcohol in a glass thermometer, we have a continuous analog representation. So analog values have some characteristics, which is it's changing. It has change in value among times. It's not fixed. So how we represent the changing in values to digital, this is what we learn today. Okay. فعندنا احنا طريقة تعاملنا مع بعض بالصوت والصورة والفيديو يكون فيها تغير كثير في الداتا، فإحنا أساساً بنستخدم الأنالوج. يعني أنتوا الحين الآن عشان تسمعوا صوتي بتستخدموا بيطلع موجات بيتم ترجمتها بالإذن عندكم، فإحنا بنحتاج تولز عشان نحول الأنالوج فاليو هذه إلى ديجيتال ميديا. فأحتاج الميكروفون عشان أتكلم فيه، يتم ترجمة الصوت عبر الميكروفون إلى ديجيتال 01، وبعدين يتم ترجمتها في الطرف الآخر من عندكم عن طريق السبيكر إلى من ديجيتال إلى أنالوج مرة ثانية، فبالتالي أنتم بتسمعوا الصوت. بنفس الطريقة البيكتشرز والفيديوز. Another way to measure temperature is by using a digital thermometer where a sensor is used. So here in normal life, we use, if we want to measure the temperature, we use digital thermometer that have some sensor. Then we have the temperature into electrical voltage. Then we need to convert it to numbers like in figure 2 here. So here in figure 2, it has some converter to translate a temperature إلى digital value. At this stage, the representation is an analog voltage, but an electronic circuit converts the analog voltage into digital representation so that we can see on the thermometer 101. Okay. This means that the value are converted into discrete value, قيمة مطلقة, some value that can be represented as digital. So we can define discrete value as something that can be counted, whereas continuous data is measured. So while the data is changing, we can measure this change. Another example of discrete quantity is number of people in a room, people counted in a whole numbers, 1 person, 2 person, 3 people. Okay, so القيمة اللي نقدر نقيسها برقم ثابت محدد بنسميها discrete value. In figure 3, we will see 2 temperature plots. One plot, الcontinuous, هذا المتصل, is both of them represent varying temperature. But the first one is by an analog representation. The second one is by using discrete values that come from digital thermometer. So both of them follow the same points, but digital representation, it has to be discrete. يعني ما هي متغيرة، لازم أقول له كم مقدار التغير. Whereas analog, at any point we can measure a change. So here we want to distinguish between which data can be considered analog, which data can be considered as digital or discrete value. For example, think of this like if it's changed, then it's analog. If it's fixed, then it's digital. Like here, for example, amount of heat from a fire, it's changing, so it is analog. Energy of a star changing, it is analog. Pressure of atmosphere, analog, changing. Price of petrol, every day or every month we have a fixed price of the petrol, so it is digital. Size of the audience at a play, it will depend on the number of chairs in the play, so it is digital. Speed of a car is changing up and down, so it is analog. So is it clear how you can distinguish between analog values and digital values? نعرف نميز ما بين الانالوج والديجيتال. Yes, very good, very clear. Okay, let's continue. Representation. Now we want to convert this analog word to digital word. Representation plays central role in facilitating communication by establishing a relationship between some perceptible form or symbol and an associated meaning or content subject to some convention. So we need to represent our data to digital, like the voice, the video, the audio, the video with pictures. This is what we usually deal as digital data. A cross on church, crescent on mosque indicate places of worship representation. So here the symbols that is used to sign for places or sign for meaning, it's affixed among all the people. If you walk around and you see red traffic light, you know you have to stop there. If you seen it green, you know you can walk. If you found traffic light for the pedestrians, then it's green, you know you can walk on the street. If it's red, then also you know that you have to wait the cars to pass. To be effective in communication, a representation must meet at least the following condition. So, how we make our representation have the good way to communicate with other, how we deliver the meaning of our representation correctly. First, it has two conditions. First condition, the form of the representation must be perceivable in some way. You can realize its meaning without someone to tell you what it doesn't mean. Second thing, the relationship between form and the content meaning is shared by all parties involved in the communication process. Like, for example, all of us, if we see green traffic light, we know we can go. If it's red, then we have to stop. All of us, if someone traveled to Saudi Arabia, he will know when he have to stop, when he have to go. So have some relation between and the representation.
دكتورة ما في صوت.
سامعين الصوت ولا راح الصوت؟
ما في صوت.
شكلها راحت.
Sorry, my internet has disconnected. Just a second, I will share the content again with you. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. So I will continue here. I've said regarding the representation, we said it has to be meet the following condition. It should be perceivable, and also the meaning of the content, it must be shared by all parties. Okay. Humans have many different ways of perceiving representation. So we are talking now about the first point, which is perceiving data, which are also used in our communication with computers. Most of the things around us, we notice it through either we can hear it, so it is auditory, the media represented by sound, and we can use music, spoken language to communicate. Computers use alarm and beeps to attract human attention. Or we can see it by our eyes. So this media is visual. You can perceive it by sight, like written music and language, like traffic sign, like flags and painting. Computer uses scanners to see image, and the screen to communicate visual image. So how we put image on the screen? Usually by using a scanner or camera now. Or the third perceivable way with things around us is tactile. We can touch it. So we as a human with visual, and if someone have visual and hearing difficulties, then they can touch the things around them, like if they read by using braille language. In computer, we use keyboard, joystick, vibrating iMic, and other things around us as input devices for computer. So almost any analog quantities can be represented digitally. What we learn today is how we will convert it, or what is the way of converting it. This means if we can represent the analog data as digital data, then we can store it and manipulate it by computer and do any process we want on it. Like sharing, sending, changing, modifying, store it. So the idea of having digital media is to be able to represent this media as 0 and 1, which is coding the data as binary numbers so that it can be stored in the computer. Okay. For example, if we want to represent image inside computer, then we have to use pixel. Pixel is actually the tiny unit of our picture. So each square of this image is called pixel. Each pixel in this picture has number of different colors and levels of light, intensities or brightness. يعني كل مربع في هذه الصورة نقدر هو بكسل. كل بكسل ممكن كذلك نرفق معاه الانتنسيتي حق الكالرز اللي فيه والبرايتنس اللي هي الشعاع حقه كان مفروض يضيء والكثافة حقت اللون لكل بكسل، فبالتالي نعطي درجة في الصورة ما بين الشادو واللايت والكالرز الديفرنت كالرز اللي ممكن نشوفها في الصورة. The greater the number of pixels used for a given size of display, the more detail can be displayed and the higher the quality of the image. It means if you have a lot large numbers of pixels in your image, you can represent more details in the image, like light with shadow, with different range of colors. Okay. To begin with, we will look at the representation of a black and white image, and this is the easiest type of image to be represented as digital, black and white, where we will consider each white as 0 and black as 1. Okay. So for example, if we have this triangle, we want to represent it as digital. We will place each white area with 0 and each black area with 1. So by the end, we will get a lot of 0 and 1 representing the triangle in this way, like in figure 5. So we can understand here, we will have an image with 0s and 1, which is the binary code to represent data inside the computer. 0 is white place, 1 is white pixel. So computer can understand it and translate it to us inside the computer later to triangle. If we want to include color, so this one, 0 and 1, we call it bitmap or raster graphics, okay? Because it's only use 0 and 1 without getting in much more details. This type of pictures, easy to translate it from media to computer because it's only black and white, okay? And it will get also high quality black and white image. If we want to use colors, red and blue color, we need to use more than just 0 and 1 to represent inside a pixel. For example, if you want to represent blue and red, you can use 2 binary code for each pixel. For example, we can say 00 representing white pixel, 01 representing red pixel, 10 representing blue, 11 representing a black. Then we have to translate the pictures to a binary code. Then we will get the figure 7 here. We will get a map. Each white will be meet 00. Each red will be 01. Each blue will become 10 and each black will be 11. يعني بنترجمها كل مربع ايش اللي قابله. For 8 colors we need, and if we want to add more colors, not only 4, this means we need more binary. We need more binary codes to be inside the pixel. So if we want to represent 8 colors inside this image, this means we need at least 3 bits for representing this one, because 2 power 3 will equal 8. If you want to represent 16 different colors, this means you need 2 power 4 digits, binary number inside each pixel. Okay, this is how we translate. يعني إذا نحتاج نمثل ألوان أكثر معناتها نحتاج binary code أكثر to represent each pixel. A set of given number of bits used for data representation is called binary word. N-bit binary word can represent 2 power n different options. For example, if you want to have 300 colors inside your picture, this means you need 9 bits word length, because 2 power 8 will represent only 256 color, and this is not enough to represent 300 colors. Any coding schema that allocate a binary code to each pixel in order to define its color and brightness is called a bitmap. So bitmap is actually coding schema to represent colors, brightness inside the pixels in image. We call it bitmap. We have a lot of pictures format, which is the file format, and there are a lot. Some of them are a standardized way to be used in the web or to be stored inside the computer. Okay. Because bitmap files are relatively large, they are not the most appropriate format to be used in the web, because web take too much time to download the pictures if it's big size. So another technique is called the GBEG, and it uses information about human perception to reduce file size. We actually compress the picture to a format without losing its quality. They still assign binary codes to pixel, but in different ways, and are not usually called bitmap. We don't call them bitmap. So bitmap is only pictures that have all the information of colors, brightness inside its pixel. There are also another type of digital pictures, which is called vector graphics. Vector graphics characteristics is it is relatively small comparing with bitmap, easy to be represented. We usually use it to represent the fixed shape like triangle, line, circle, which can be done by using another parameters like the center and the dimension. Okay. Vector graphics are most appropriate where the image is made up of regular shapes. So the best type of representing shapes inside the computer is by using vector graphics. As in many web or computer games graphics, example, straight line, if you want to represent straight line, or a circle, you can define the center and the radius, then it will be stored only by representing these values. In this way, file size can be kept much smaller than bitmap, provide the complete graphic consistent only of the shapes allowed within the vector graphic system. It's also easy to produce, and for images such as photographs or motion pictures, the vector graphics appropriate is not effective. So if you want to represent more motions, vector is not the good choice. Here, some calculations. 1 byte is equal 8-bit. Kilobyte equal 1024 bit, or we represent it by power as 2 power 10. Megabyte, double of kilobyte, which is 2 power 20. Or 1024 multiply 1024. Gigabyte is 1000 of the megabyte, which is 1024 megabytes, or 2 power 30. Okay, this is as we know. So now we have a lot of calculation in these questions. You have a smartphone, has a screen resolution of 640 multiply 960 pixel. Okay, so عندنا شاشة حق الجوال. الريزولوشن حقها 640 multiply 960 pixel تقاس screens with pixel. We want to know how much data in bits, bytes, and megabytes is required to display an image. It uses 16 bits for each pixel. Okay, let us translate these things. We have the screen size 640 في 960 pixel. Okay, each pixel requires 16 bits to represent the colors, the brightness, shades. So first you need to calculate how many pixels you have in the screens, and it will the multiplication. 640 multiply 960, and it will give you the number of pixels in your screen. Then you need to multiply the number of bits for each pixel by multiplying a number of pixels with it. يعني 16 multiply a number of pixels in your screen, and this will give you the number of bits. If you want to convert the bits إلى bytes from the small value to the big value, you need to divide. So you will divide this number to 8, which is 8 bits to represent 1 byte, and it will give you the number of bytes. You want to convert it, the number to megabyte, which is the value of 2 power 20. Okay, and it will give you the number of megabytes. Is it clear? The calculation here? Okay.
Yes, clear.
Yes, Doctor, yes.
Very good. The other example and the question also the same things. Okay, so here now we have, let us move on. We have a file of bitmap format. Its size is 3 megabyte. We want to calculate how long will it take to download the file, the time we need it to download on the internet. If our connection speed is 40.1 megabyte per second. So we need first to solve this type of a question with a file of megabyte. We need to calculate how many bytes we need to transfer for this file. It's 3 megabyte. Okay, so we need to calculate how many bytes in our file. 3 megabytes multiply 1024, which is the megabyte, multiply 8 bit for each byte. فبيعطيني number of bits. Then we need to calculate the internet speed. My speed is 14.1 megabyte per second. We multiply it in 1000 اللي هي الميجابايت 14.1 megabyte, and this will give me number of bits اللي can be transferred in 1 second by using our connection. So we have the formula to calculate the number of seconds, size divided by the speed, and we have this size, this number of bits, and divided by the number of bits in the number of bits that be transferred in second, and this will give me the number of second, which is 1 second point 78 part of the second. Another question. Common bitmap format for displaying reasonably high quality digital image is to use 24 for each pixel. Okay. How many pixels are required for? We need to calculate the number of pixels to represent on screen. Its size is 1024 multiply 768. So here a number of pixels على طول multiplying high في width. So it will give me the number of pixels, which is this value. Then if we require 24 bits in each pixel, then فمعناها we need to multiply the total number of pixels في a number of bits for each pixel, and this will give us the number of bits, similar as the first question. Okay, a second part is the speed of the download. The connection of your speed is 2.3 megabytes per second. You know, you want to calculate how many seconds is required you to upload this image. So you need to convert first your connection speed to number of bits. So 2.3 multiply 1000 multiply by 1000, which is the megabyte, and it will give you the number of bits that transmitted during this connection in 1 second. If you want to calculate number of seconds, then you need to divide size على speed, وهذا راح يعطيك number of seconds. So always start from what value you already have and what is the value you need to find. And from my experience before with Arab Open Universities, they like the calculations in the exam. So always work on calculation, okay? Now how we can represent videos. Before we carry on, let us take 5 minutes break. We didn't take a break. Take 5 minutes break. الآن it is 12 دقيقة. So let us come back here within 14 15 16 17 7:17. Okay, so take a break 5 minutes. We come back. Thank you very much. جودي ليش ضربنا ب1000 علشان احنا عندنا الميجا بايت ب2000 ب1000 فتضربيها ب1000 هذه في التايم. اوكي Hello, welcome back. We will carry on our meeting, and we have already covered how we represent pictures with different formats and representing digital media as picture. Now we will talk about how we represent videos. Videos, we will consider it as a series of image, and we will call it frames. So the speed of passing the frames one after the another is called the frame rate. So the definition of frame rate is the speed of flipping or changing the frames one after the another. Usually in films, we have 24 frames to be displayed in 1 second. TV pictures are represented as between 25 and 30 frames per second, depending on the country. And we have also high definition TV, and it uses 60 frames per second. If we have, this is a question, if we have 2-hour film, and each second in this 2 hour, it represents 24 frames. Each frame require 640 multiply 380 pixel. Each pixel require 24 bit to represent red, green, blue color encoding. So we want to calculate the number of bytes that is required to store the whole film. So we need to calculate the numbers of bytes and bits to be represented inside each pixel of this film. First, you need to calculate the number of pixels, multiplying the height and the width of the screen. Then, each frame will represent by 3 bytes, and this will give you the number of bytes. Okay. Why? Because it said here 24 frame per second each frame, and 24 bit, 24 divided by 8, it will give you 3 byte. Already calculated here and values in byte. Okay. If you want to know why we multiply it in 3, we divide 24 bit على 8, it will give you 3 byte. Then we need to calculate also a number of seconds, because we want to know how many bytes. We calculate the number of seconds in 2 hours. 2 hours multiply 60 minutes multiply 60 seconds in each, it will give you 7,200 seconds in 2 hours. We have 24 frames to be displayed in 1 second. So 24 frame multiply a number of seconds, which is 7,200, it will give you 172,800 frames. Then the number of bytes needed to represent the whole film, you need to multiply the number of frames per second, multiply the number of bytes for each frame, and it will give you the total number of bytes. If you want to convert it to gigabyte or megabyte, then you need to divide it to 2 power 20 or 2 power 30, and it will give you by the end 170.460 gigabyte. You need to do this calculation later by your own to be familiarize yourself with the calculation, which value you need to calculate on each question. Now we will move on how we can represent the sound. We have an application called Audacity, and it's a program to record the sound and make some change and show you also the wave of the sound. We can download it in different operating systems like Windows and Macintosh and Linux. Then the features of this application, it allows you to load, record, save, play different files format for the sound. Also, it shows you the waveform of the sound, and you can edit the sound there. So this is Audacity. Sound is actually another analog features of the board, and each voice and each sound we represented is actually can be represented with, by wave form. If we have a fork and we do some vibration in the fork, we can hear pure sound that make particular air movement and backward and forward with the fork, and this will let us hear the sound of the fork. One way to visualize the movement of the sound wave is by drawing a graph, and we can represent how the air particular moves backward and forward as the time passes. Then we can represent the sound with digital media. So there are some characteristics for each sound wave. We have cycle, and the cycle is actually the time between adjacent peaks. So this is cycle or adjacent through. يا إما القاع يا إما القمة اللي بنقيس فيها الcycle. And the number of cycles completed in a fixed time, usually in second, is called the frequency. So we have cycle, which is the time between two tops or two bottoms, which is the peak or through. Then we have the frequency, and it's the number of cycles in the second in a fixed time. Okay. We have also the amplitude. Amplitude is the determine how loud the sound is, and it's also the length. So this is the amplitude of the sound wave. Also, we have the frequency will decide how low or high the sound is. So here we have in figure 9 is the theoretical. In reality, the amplitude will decrease as the sound fade away. So it will become less and less and less. A tuning fork is a very simple instrument and so make a pure sound. Real instrument and real noise are much more complicated than this. An instrument like clarinet would have a complex waveform. So the meaning here that the sound have changing values as they go far away. It's not something fixed you can represent it by drawing. So this is the idea of sound wave. So how we can convert it to digital media? This is what we are this is what we will see now. First, we need microphone. We use it to convert the sound pressure wave into analog electrical signal. This is from the sender side. Then electrical signals need also to be converted back to digital representation to be stored inside the computer. So the process of digitizing the sound will include two stages: the sampling of the waveform, then the quantization of the sound wave. As we split up image by dividing them into pixels, in sound we are actually dividing it to a very small time intervals, and this is called samples. The first stage of the process is to measure the amplitude of the sound wave at regular time intervals. So here to represent the voice or the sound in digital form, we need to take the sound samples between regular time intervals. Taking reading like this is called sampling. So we need samples of our sound. Then the number of times per second we take a sample is called sampling rate. This has another also characteristics. We will take the tuning fork example, set an interval of half second, and look at the state of a wave every 0.5 seconds, like this here. So each half second we will take the wave sampling. By the end, we will read the amplitude of the wave and we will get these values: 9.3, minus 3.1, 4.1, 8.2. Then this value, we can use it to represent the digital sound, but we will get something like this. So we have some gap inside this half second, which will make the voice lose the quality of itself. So if we plot a new graph of the waveform using just these numbers, we get the graph in figure 13. The platex at every sampling point represent interval between samples where we have no information, and so assume that nothing happened. But this is wrong because we lose the quality of the audio. So the audio signal produced by the sample does not closely follow the original signals, leading to poor quality sound. Again, إذا كنا نبغى نمثل الصوت نحتاج إن إحنا ناخذ samples. السامبلز هذا لما نيجي نرسم الويف ناخذ بوينتس في الويف هذه values اللي هي هذه الأرقام 9.3 minus 3.1 4.1 8.2 وهكذا. بعدين نمثل هذه الأرقام digitalizing عشان نحول الويف إلى digital value. لكن المشكلة عندنا هنا إن في جاب في نص الثانية هذه أنا ما أقدر أمثل الساوندز بشكل straight like in the drawing اللي عندي زي اللي في الدروينج هنا. لما أجي أمثل الصوت بالطريقة هذه بيكون في عندي قيم ضاعت فوق وتحت. أوكي، فعلشان نتلافى هذا العيب اللي بيصير في الساوند نحتاج إن إحنا ناخذ السامبلينج مش كل نص ثانية، نحتاج وقت أقل ناخذ فيه السامبلينج، يعني مثلا كل جزء من الثانية وليس كل نص ثانية. So to improve the sound quality by making our sampling interval smaller, this means we need to decrease a temporal splitting up of a waveform. So we will get the sound in higher quality and we can convert it to digital form. So now let us move into the second phase, which is dequantization. Okay, so let us take speak about dequantization. Quantization is the second stage, and it's the process of converting a sample into a suitable number for computer storage by dividing the maximum voltage range of the analog sound signal into a number of discrete voltage bands. So we will get something more close to the analog format. Then each value here will be represented by using the binary code, like here, this point 110, this point will be 110, and such on. So if we want to just send sound somewhere, then we can simply send the string of numbers, the 0 and 1, through any transmission channel to digital to analog converter and use the speakers to hear the sound. Any device that can store large quantities of numbers can be used to store the sound, like MP3 player or DVD player or anything. This is one of the calculation questions. If you have 4-second single channel storage, and for each sound sample required 2 bytes of storage, that an additional 44 bytes are needed for format information. So here we need actually 2 bytes plus 44 bytes to store the format information, and we need to take 44,100 samples per second. By the end, we want to calculate the size of the file. How will be the size of the file? So here, the file is 4 seconds long. The sample ratio is 44,100 samples per second. Okay, so we need to multiply length number of seconds في number of samples per second, and this will give us the number of samples in second. Then each sample will require 2 bytes to be stored plus 44 bytes for the format of the file. This means 2 multiply number of samples plus 44, which is counted only once, and this will give us the number of bytes. Now we will talk about the compression of digital files. As we know, the data, the digital data, sound, image, and videos usually represented by using large data file. This means we need some way to compress it and make it smaller. For example, if we have 500 pages of Word document, which is represented as a plain text format, this requires 1.8 megabyte to be stored inside the computer. And also, if we have 30-second video, it requires 186 megabyte to be represented. So it's a huge number of data to be stored. One way to solve the a huge amount of data is to compress it. So what's meaning of compress it is taking the original digital file and convert it into a new file that use fewer bits without significantly degrading, corrupting the quality of the original content. يعني بياخدوا الكمبريشن. شو اللي بيصير في الكمبريشن؟ احنا لما نضغط ناخذ الفايل، نشيل الداتا اللي unnecessary في هذا الفايل عشان نصغر من حجم الملف ونعرضه من جديد. So this result in saving the memory needed to store the data and increasing the speed of transfer. This is the why we have to do compress, when we need to do compress. So the ratio between the uncompressed file size and the compressed file size is called the compression ratio, and it's counted by dividing the size of the uncompressed file على the size of the compressed file. The higher the compression ratio is, the less storage space would be needed for the resulting compressed file, because it also means that you might lose more data from your original file. So if 10 megabyte file, if 10 megabyte file compressed to 2 megabyte file, this means the ratio, the compress ratio is 2 to 2. Which is equivalent to 5 to 1. Okay, divided by 2. If the same file is compressed to 5 megabytes, the compression ratio will be 10 to 5, equal to 2 to 1. Okay. This also will lead us to define the different types of compression, which is lossless or lossy. Lossless will compress the original file without losing the original representation, so it will still have high quality of digital data. Whereas lossy compression will let the file to lose part of the content. Decompression is the opposite operation of the compression. Decompression is the opposite operation of compression. It's the reverse operation, and it converts the compressed data to uncompressed data. So it's to its original form. Lossless compression, the digital data is stored in compressed form such that it can be recovered sample for sample with nothing altered or lost. Like, for example, if you are using zip file, creating using the popular WinZip compressed software. Okay. One way of this, one form to do the lossless compression is to use dictionary-based coding. In most digital files, some data usually repeated over and over again. So if we want to do the lossless compression by using the method dictionary-based coding, we will have a file with the repeated data with index for each repeated data. So if we want to translate it to commerce data, we use the same code rather than using 8-bit to represent each character of the data. So this makes the file smaller. We will see this in the example. For example, we have when the going gets thaw, the thaw gets going. If we want to see in this sentence, we have the word going repeated 2 times. We have da repeated 2 times. We have get repeated 1. Okay. So we take the repeated words here and give it some index 1, 2, 3. So da will be represented by number 1, going will be represented by 2, thaw will be represented by 3. So we can rewrite the sentence above by using dictionary-based coding in this way. When 1, 2 gets 3, comma, 1, 3 get 2. So rather than using a file with 47 units to represent the sentence, we can change it to 27 unit only of the memory. So we are saving space of our memory. Okay. Another technique for loose list compression is called run length coding. And in this way, data items are recognized and replaced with a single instance of the data item, together with a number indicating how many times the item is repeated. So we will, for example, if we have, so run length encoding, we will see the repeated number, repeated items, and we will say how many times it was repeated. For example, if we have black and white squares here in a pattern, then we can say, to represent this as binary sequence, it is 010101, which 0 represents the white square, 1 represents the black square. Then to do the compression by using run length encoding, we can say 7 multiply 01. So repeat 0 and 1 7 times to represent 010101. So we call this run length encoding. This is another example. If we have picture with black, white, black squares, and we represent it with 1 and 0s, then we want to do it with the compression with run length encoding. So it will become represent 1 80 times, then represent 0, which is the white square, 28 times, then represent 1 20 times. So we do the saving data. Loose coding is used in similar way for simple image, such as line drawing and symbol shapes in the GIF, which is the graphics interchange format, okay, which is used also in websites. In loosey compression, which is if we do the compression by using this method, usually we lost part of the original file without losing the important information there. So one type of the pictures, the loosey compression, is called the Joint Photographic Expert, JPEG, and loose compression of audio, image, and video file exploits feature of a human perception to reduce the amount of data needed. So it's only reserved the important data to understand the content. Psychoacoustic is the study of how humans perceive and respond to sound. Knowledge from psychoacoustics is used in loosey compression technique. Why? Because they use it to highlight only the important information inside the file so that when they did the loosey compression, they don't lose the important information. So MP3 file audio compression offers acceptable audio quality with high compression ratio in the region of 11:1. So digital image is made up of multiple small elements known as pixel. So pictures represented by pixel. The more pixel, the high resolution you will get, and this means high also and big size, big file size, which is also a big amount of memory. Two solutions to reduce amount of memory required. Either to reduce the number of pixels, and this means you are reducing the image resolution, or to do the compress to data using compression software. One of the most important standards for photo image coding is the JPEG, or the extension of this file is called JPG. For video, it is MPEG. What does this include? What the techniques of this file format include? It will divide the picture into small block of pixel and perform complex calculation, and will with a description also of the block. It will remove or reduce some components because they are not important for human vision. Now we need to understand the conversion of the systems between binary, decimal, octal, and hexadecimal. As we already know, the base of decimal number system is 10. The base for the binary system is 2. The base for the octal system is 8. The base for the hexadecimal is 16. So decimal use the digits from 0 to 9. The binary use only 2 digits, 0 and 1. The octal use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 8 numbers starting with 0 till 7. 16, it will use from 0 to 9, and also A, B, C, D, E, and F, which represent 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay. So for decimal, both of these systems are used in digitizing the data, but the decimal base is used worldwide, and to convert the value to decimal is actually based on its location. So 337, 30 and the 7 is the beginning of the number, third is the second position, so it's like 30 plus 7. Okay, here 345. So 5 is the single number in the first position. 4 is actually out of 40, which is the decimal number. 300 is actually in the 100 in the 100 places. So it's like 300 plus 40 plus 5 represent 345. The same things with 4,621. So you actually divide the number to its place of the number. بعيدها. هنا طبعا في عندي الخانات، خانة الآحاد والعشرات والمئات والألوف. فأساسا ال 37 جاية من السبعة زائد الثلاثين، السبعة في خانة الآحاد، الثلاثة في خانة العشرات. فهي الثلاثة أساسا كانت 3 في 10 30، والسبعة كانت لحالها 7، فبتكون عملية جمع 7 زائد 30 بيعطيني 37. 345 نفس الايديا. الخمسة في الآحاد لحالها، الأربعة في العشرات يعني هي أساساً 40، 4 في 10. الثلاثة في خانة المئات فهي أساساً كانت في 3 في 100، فبيطلع عندي في المجموع 300 زائد 40 زائد 5 بيعطيني 345. نفس الطريقة إلى الإكزامبل اللي تحت. Octal, which is base 8 system, used digits from 0 to 7 with the same ideas. So 6 in the first position, 4 in the second position. But because the base is 8, so we will multiply it with 8 to the power of the position. So here it will be 6 multiply 8 power 0 plus 4 multiply 8 power 1, because 6 in the 0 position, 4 in the first position. Okay, by the end we will get 38 to base 10. يعني ال 46 بالنظام الثماني عشان احولها الى النظام العشري احتاج اضرب كل قيمة في هذا الرقم الثماني في البوزيشن حقه. يعني هنا عندي 46، فباخذ الستة اللي هي الديجيت نمبر 1 في العدد الثماني هذا واضربها في 8 مرفوعة إلى ترتيب الرقم اللي هي فيه. هي موجودة في أي خانة، الخانة الأولى فبيكون باور 0. فستة ضرب 8 باور 0 بلس 4 ملتبلاي 8 باور 1. نبدأ من 0 1 و 2 و 3 وهكذا. By the end it will become 8 باور 1 8 ضرب الأربعة ب 32. 32 plus 6 it will become 38 بالنظام العشري. هذه التحاويل. اوكي، نفس الطريقة للديجيت الثاني 128 بالنظام الثماني. عشان احولها بالعشري take each number ومultiply it الى البيس اللي هو عندي هنا 8 مرفوع الى الترتيب حق هذه الخانة. اوكي، I want to get more in this. Just a second. 125 بالثمانية. Just a second. I'll share with you. This one. So here we have the value 46 بالنظام الثماني. So this on base 8, and you want to convert it to the value with النظام العشري. كم يساوي؟ So 46 is 6 in the position 0, 4 in the position 1. So you will take 6. This will equal 6 multiply 8 power 0 plus 4 multiply 8 power 1. 8 power 0 equal to 1. 1 multiply 6 هذه equal 6 plus 32, and this will equal 38 بالعشري. يعني 46 بالثماني equal 38 بالعشري. نفس الطريقة الexamples اللي تحت. I hope it's clear.
Yes, clear.
Very good. Okay, then we have the binary system. Binary use only 0 and 1, and the same things here. If we have binary number and we want to convert it to decimal number, we will do the same idea. Take each digit, multiply it to the base, whatever it was, octal, binary, or hexadecimal. The power of the position of the digit multiply in the power, multiply in the base to the power of the position of the number. So here 110 in the binary system, it will equal to 0 multiply 2 power 0, the first one, plus 1 multiply 2 power 1 plus 1 multiply 2 power 2. And this will give me 6 in the decimal binary system. The same things with the other example down. 1101 التحويل من ثنائي إلى عشري، بتاخدي كل خانة وبتضربيها في الأساس. هنا عندي الأساس 2، فبيكون عبارة عن 1 ضرب 2 مرفوع إلى الأساس. بنبدأ from right to left، من الآحاد إلى من الآحاد إلى العشرات إلى المئات إلى الألوف. دائما بنمشي from right to left. ننتبه لهالنقطة هذه. فبناخد ال1 هذه الأولى ونضربها في 2 أس 0 زائد 0 مضروبة في 2 أس 1، لأن البوزيشن حقها 1، بعدين 1 مضروبة في 2 أس 2، بعدين زائد 1 مضروبة في 2 أس 3، وهذه راح يعطيني 13 بالنظام العشري.
الدكتورة غير السكرين ترى ما نشوف.
آسفة لحظة بس احنا نغيرها. اوكي رجعنا لها. فهنا we take each digit وبنضربه في الأساس مرفوع إلى وين موجود، هو في أي خانة، آحاد ولا عشرات ولا مئات ولا ألوف. فهذه always نبدأ from right to left ونبدأ بالزيرو والون والتو. اوكي فبنمشي عليهم. فالنمبر سيستم في عندنا البت which is the smallest digital value. 0 and 1 will represent nothing as binary data. We need to convert it to byte. To represent 1 byte, we need at least 8 bits. So, if we have in our system only 8 bits to represent any data, then the maximum data we can represent it by using only 8 bits is when all the values of the 8 bits equal to 1, which is 111, 1111. And this equal 255 in the decimal binary system. Then the smallest number is when all the bits there is equal to 0, and this will represent 0 in the decimal binary system. We have also the word size for a computer. The word size for the computer in a bit is actually how many bits the computer can handle or the CPU can handle in a given time. So if we have the word size is equal to 32 bits, which is equal to 4 bytes, this means the computer can handle this value in decimal binary system. Now, if we want to do the opposite way, converting from binary to decimal, we already have seen how we convert from decimal to binary. Now we will do the opposite way, from binary to decimal. If you have, we already have seen this. Sorry, we already have seen this. الكونفرتنج اللي هي بنضرب في البيس مرفوع إلى الباور. فهذا الشرح already we cover it. How we convert from binary to decimal. بناخذ قلنا كل رقم بنبدأ من اليمين لليسار. أحاد عشرات مئات ألوف. Take the value, multiply it to البيس مرفوع إلى الخانة اللي هو فيها. We have already seen how to represent here الباينري number 110 to decimal. Okay, so this is the illustration how you can do it. Octal to decimal, the same things. You multiply it to, so here to convert this value 765 in octal system to decimal, you will multiply each value in the base. 8 مرفوع إلى الأساس. So here 5 multiply 8 power 0 plus 6 multiply 8 power 1 plus 7 multiply 8 power 2. By the end, if you do the calculation and don't forget to multiply first, then do the submission. يعني بنضرب أول وبعدين بنجمع لأن الضرب له أولوية. فبتجري كل عملية ضرب أول، بس تخلص الضرب راح تجمع. Okay. by the end we will get this value to decimal number. It will be 501. The time of the sessions already end, but because I have less than few slides to finish, so it's connected together. If you want to leave, you can leave. السيشن خلصت. إذا كنت تبغى تروح تقدر تروح. السيشن already recorded. فأنا بكمل إن شاء الله وبرسل لكم اللينك حق المحاضرة على إيميلاتكم. لأن باقي لنا just a few slides وهي مرتبطة يعني مع بعضها البعض في الموضوع اللي احنا فيه، فما أبغى إني أقطعها وأبدأها المحاضرة الجاية. فاللي يبغى يمشي you can go. Okay. بالنسبة للأتندنس already I take it يعني you already in و I already download attendance list. So don't worry about the attendance. Okay. Now if we want the opposite operation converting from decimal to binary, we will do the division اللي هي التحليل. And we will take the remind how many remained from the value, and with this will be either 1 or 0. We will calculate this as binary. So for example, if I have the value 156 from decimal to binary, I will do this in the whiteboard. Just a second, let me share it with you. So I have the value 156. Okay, so if I have the value, just a second, I don't want this.
Can you go?
Yes, you can go. If you want, yes, you can go.
Yes, okay,
بس
thank
أنا
you.
بكمل المحاضرة، فتقدر تشوف التكملة إن شاء الله في التسجيل.
اوكي تمام، الله يعطيك العافية.
الله يعافيك. So if we have 156 بالنظام العشري and you want to convert it to the binary number, how you can do it? Can you see my screen? ولا no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what we will do here is actually the division على البيس. بنسوي عملية القسمة على البيس المطلوب مني التحويل له. So here we need to convert it to 2. So we will divide على 2. What's important here is actually remind how many remained. So 156, if we want to divide it on 2, here we will have 7 and remain is 1. Then we got 16 divided by 2, 8. Remained will be 0. Based on the base here, here we have the base 2. So for sure, remained will be either 0 or 1. If it's octal, then remained will be for sure a value from 0 to 7. If it's hexadecimal, the remained will be from 0 to 9 or 11, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15. So for sure it will be a digit from the base. Then we will carry on, divided by 2. Here, 78 divided by 2, here we will got 3, then we will have 9, and remained as 0. Divided by 2, we will got here 1, remained is 1, so 19 divided by 2, it will become 9, and the remained is 1. Divided by 2, we will have 9, and remind is 1. Divided by 2, we will get 4, and remind is 1. Divided by 2, we will get 2, remind is 0. Reminded by 2, we will get 1, remind is 0. Then you need to carry on till nothing's stay in the division operation. So divided by 2, we have here nothing, and we still have the 1 as remain. Then you will take the remind value here from top to down and sort it from right to left. So you will get 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. So this value, the binary value here, is actually represented the binary number for the decimal value 156. Okay. I hope it's clear. So let us back to our PowerPoint. We already covered this slide, decimal to binary. So this will become, as we explained, 00111 فهنا بنسوي عملية القسمة دائما على الأساس 2 إذا كان مطلوب منا التحويل إلى باينري، وبناخذ الباقي، فالباقي هو المهم لنا، وبالرتبة من فوق لتحت بنكمل العملية لحد ما يظل في شيء عندي من الأرقام اللي تقبل القسمة. في الأخير يا ما بيكون عندي 0 يا ما بيكون عندي 1. The same things if we want to convert to octal, we will divide on the base 8 and we will take a remind. And the remind will be either any value from 0 to 7. So if we want to convert 15 from decimal to octal, we will divide it on 8. Then we will sort them from top to down, from right to left, and we will get 7, 1 in the octal binary system. So HCI means interacting with computers, human-computer interaction, and it's a study about how a human can interact with computers by using different applications. It's looked for different aspects in designing the computer system and the application to make the using of the computer safe, efficient, and easy and enjoyable. It's look for different topics on computers like computer science, psychology, engineering, artificial intelligence, philosophy, socializing, and graphics design. So the important here is how to make good user interface. To make good user interface, your interface needs to be easy to understand. It's need to meet the needs of the user. It's need to support the user task. So for good user interface design, always be aware of the needs of the user. The most essential part of creating good user interface is to be aware of the visibility and feedback, affordance, simplicity, structure, consistency, tolerance of the user interface design. Each has a meaning. So the visibility of user interface, it's look for how clear your element is, and is it visible enough or not, and how it's labeled by using text or image. Like, for example, in the DVD player, we have a fixed symbol representing the play, the pause, the stop, the backward and forward of the track. For the feedback, how we provide the feedback in the user interface by using alarm system, by showing message to the user, or by do some vibration on the joystick. So how we give feedback to the user. Affordance mean how is it clear of how using the user interface image element. Like, for example, if we saw a triangle in the DVD player, we know it's a play button. How we represent the buttons by making some shadow on the buttons, by underlying the words that represent links and the web. Simplicity means by trying to make everything simple as possible, by using action icons, words, and user interface, by using simple language, by breaking the complex text to simple task. Tolerance means the ability of the user interface to prevent errors if possible, by for example, deactivate some buttons in the screen that is not allowed to user. The structure, a user interface needs to be structured in the way that is meaningful to the user. Consistency, like for example, in Microsoft Word, we use different programs, but all of them have the same menu, but the commands there have the same location in each program, either if it's give different function. We finished today's session. Sorry for taking more from your time. And for those who left the meeting, I will send you the record, inshallah, of this meeting as I upload it on the web. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, you can ask. Thank you very much. Regard the attendance, I already take the attendance, and you can leave if you want. المحاضرة تابع الأسبوع اللي راح توي راسلتها اليوم، لأني آخر مرة يعني رسلتها سويت لها أبلود وطولت على ما تتحمل، فبعدين لهيت ونسيت إني أرسل لكم اللينك. فإن شاء الله محاضرة هذا الأسبوع أول ما أرفعها رسلت لها لكم، يعني اللينك حق محاضرة الأسبوع الماضي already رسلت لكم إيميل في الون درايف، هي مرفوعة واللينك ترسل إليكم. رسلت اليوم اللينك. الله يعافيك يا رب. شكرا لكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.